Well, here we are. It's the time of year when good intentions meet life. You started January with a plan, maybe even a project that you swore would move the needle this year. But somehow, detours, delays, distractions keep showing up. That big idea might be half baked, on the back burner, or hasn't even made it to the table yet. But here's the truth, it's not too late. Why? Because you have time and you can still turn distraction into dollars. The difference? A focused, faith driven map that moves one thing from idea to finish line. That's what I want to share with you today, my signature growth mapping method, and how it's literally changing how women finish what they start, see real revenue, and still keep their peace. This is how you hit every business goal you set from now on. So, if you're here for that, let's dive in. Welcome back to the Redeem Her Time podcast. I'm Lissa Figgins, Christian scaling strategist, recovering business owner, and the woman who used to have a new idea every 5 minutes and a fresh plan every Monday. If you could have seen my desk back then, hello, sticky notes, notebooks, whiteboards, Trello, it looked like creativity exploded. I was always chasing the next great idea God gave me, but instead of walking it out with Him, I was trying to sprint ahead for Him. And I'd start strong, pour in long nights and lots of effort, but somewhere along the way, I'd get distracted, detoured, or downright discouraged and be off in the ditch. And when that happened, I do what a lot of us do, just push harder. I tell myself I just needed more hours or a better planner, and before long, I'd be caught in the same exhausting cycle. Start, stop, sprint, repeat. You see, I was busy building, but not really being led. My heart wanted to serve God, but my habits were actually serving hustle. And that's when God showed me that my time wasn't the problem. My stewardship was. And I didn't need to control time. I needed to co-labor with the one who created it. And that, my friend, is how the growth mapping method was born. Not out of striving, but out of surrender. It's a simple, faith-centered system that will keep you focused, consistent, and in motion no matter what season you're in. Instead of juggling 10 half-started ideas, the growth mapping method helps you partner with God to identify the one thing He's actually calling you to complete in this season. Then it helps you map that project into a 12-week growth plan so you move forward with clarity instead of feeling a little chaotic. And you walk it out with weekly accountability so that way you don't drift when life happens, instead, staying anchored to what truly matters. Now, you're going to hear the phrase growth mapping method a lot today. Sorry, not sorry. Why? Because it's a system that helped me stop spinning and start finishing with God. And it's the same three-step system that women inside CEO Focus are using right now to make measurable progress on the projects He's entrusted to them. In fact, one CEO just shared she got more done in 2 weeks inside the program than she had in the previous 6 months. How? Because she finally had clarity on what to do, when to do it, and how it aligned with her God-given assignment to serve more clients and expand her impact. So, quick note before we dive in. If you're already thinking, Lissa, this sounds like exactly what I need, then don't wait another week or till after the holidays to finally get the clarity, the focus, and the accountability that are guaranteed to move your business forward. Right now, I've got something really special happening, an early Black Friday offer that you don't want to miss. It's called the CEO Focus Bundle, and it's designed to help you turn distraction into dollars before the year is over. For a limited time, when you join CEO Focus, you will get my Redeem Her Time Planner and the Intentional Year digital course completely free. Yes, you heard that right. Your coaching, your structure, and your tools all in one bundle. So that way you can stop spinning and finally finish your one thing in just 12 weeks. This is how you end the year strong and step into the next one already in motion with everything in alignment. So, before your inboxes and feeds fill up with more Black Friday deals, don't miss this one that's going to change everything about how you approach time and the results you get. Right now, head to redeemhertime.com/focus-bundle, focus-bundle to grab it while it's available, or click the link in the show notes. All right, let's get into the method. But before we do, can I share a story with you? I was working with a client. Her name is Lori. You might remember her. She had a huge goal, launching her big book with a big name publisher. She thought she had a plan in place when she came to me, but in reality, it was more like an overgrown to-do list than a plan that would actually get her across the finish line. Her tasks were scattered, those deadlines were looming, and the timeline felt nearly impossible. She was, well, to say overwhelmed, overextended, and living in an anxious, always behind space that we all know too well. We sat down together and walked through the growth mapping method. We identified her one thing, the project that would truly move the needle in her business and serve her audience well, which was getting her book into the world. And then we mapped it out into 12 weeks of focused, bite sized action steps that included gathering a launch team, promoting via a podcast, and celebrating with an in person launch party. That plan alone brought clarity, but the real game changer came when an unexpected opportunity landed in her lap. Her publisher asked if she could narrate her own audiobook. Now, for most of us, that kind of surprise would have sent us spiraling. How do I possibly add that to everything else on my plate? And normally, that's how Lori would have responded too. But because she had the growth mapping method in place, and because she had weekly coaching accountability with me, we were able to rework her plan on the fly. We made room for this new high impact opportunity without derailing the rest of her launch, so she could say yes, move forward confidently, and still keep her timeline intact. 12 weeks later, aka tomorrow, Lori will have hit her big goal of launching her book, Walking with a Giant, right on time. And she's going to be celebrating at her launch party with family and friends. But here's the kicker: she didn't just finish, she had margin. She was able to enjoy date nights again, to babysit her grandkids, to take a weekend away, and even carve out a personal retreat for herself. That, my friend, is what finishing well looks like, where you have profit without panic, where you've got presence without pressure, and progress that multiplies. Do you know why I love Lori's story? It's a perfect example of what happens when you pair clarity, focus, and intentional support with a proven system. You see, she didn't just hope that her book launch would happen. She created a plan she could follow, a timeline that worked, and had accountability in place to help her adjust when life threw curveballs. Now, I want to show you how I made that happen step by step. So, right now, I'm going to walk you through the growth mapping method, the very system that Lori used to finish her project with momentum and margin. And as we go, I'm going to highlight the mistakes that busyness owners often make. Because the moment you see the mistake, the fix starts to feel simple, practical, and completely doable. And just so you know, if this is for you, if any of these sound like you, are you a divinely driven entrepreneur? You're not chasing hustle, you're pursuing his purpose. And you want your business to grow without losing your peace, and you know it's time to steward your time like the CEO that God called you to be. This also is for the multi-idea visionary. You're juggling countless projects and ideas, but you know completing that just one high-impact project will multiply your reach, your revenue, and your results, and you're ready to stop spinning your wheels and finally cross the finish line. Or you might be a heart-led action taker. You're done with overwhelm and scattered priorities. You just want a clear plan and accountability so that way you can focus, finish what you start, and see real impact and income from your business. If any of those are you, then stick with me because what I'm about to share can change the way you approach your next 12 weeks, your next profitable project, and how you steward time and resources that God has entrusted you from here on. So grab your pen and paper, better yet, open up your Redeemer Time Planner, and let's dive in. All right, step number one of the growth mapping method is the one thing focus. But first, mistake number one is doing too many things at once. You know the story. If you try to chase two squirrels, you won't catch either one, right? Ideas are wonderful. And as a creative, ambitious woman, you probably have a list a mile long of things you could start or launch. But when everything is treated as a priority, girl, nothing gets finished. And that is exactly why so many business owners end up spinning their wheels, exhausted, wondering why their business isn't moving forward faster. This is where the one thing focus comes in, the very first step in the growth mapping method. You get to identify one project that truly multiplies growth, not 10 half-started ones. This is the 20% of your work that produces the 80% of the revenue and results. This is the offer, the system, the campaign that actually propels your business forward with purpose and profit and ultimately for His glory. Why does it matter? Because when you know exactly where you're going, your actions stop being random and start being decisive. Instead of spreading yourself thin across a dozen important tasks, you concentrate your best time, your best energy, and your best focus on the project that will actually move the needle. You finally finish the offer, the system, or the campaign instead of letting it linger half-baked on the back burner. The beauty of this step is that it gives you clarity and confidence. When your one thing is aligned with your mission, girl, your message, and your margin, the decision-making stops being overwhelming. You don't have to guess which task to tackle next. You know exactly what matters most. So that way, you can move forward with intention. Step number two is the 12-week growth map. But mistake number two is giving yourself too much time or no timeline at all. You see, many busyness owners set a big goal at the beginning of the year and think, I'll get to it eventually. Or they give themselves an open ended plan with no real checkpoints, and before they know it, weeks slip by in the tyranny of the urgent. Suddenly, that project is half baked, the deadline feels impossible, and the frustration sets in. Have you been there? This is where the 12-week growth map comes in. Instead of a vague goal, you break your God sized project into weekly, bite sized action steps. That way, each step is purposeful and achievable, turning what felt overwhelming into a clear path forward. You stop hoping it gets done someday and start following a proven path to cross the finish line in just 12 weeks. Why does this matter? Because a defined timeline creates a healthy sense of urgency. It helps you prioritize daily tasks that actually feed into your bigger project instead of being hijacked by busy work. You start seeing tangible progress every week, and that momentum keeps you motivated. And the best part, your plan isn't rigid, it's structured, but adaptable. So that way you can steward your time faithfully while still responding to the opportunities that God puts in your path. All right, and step number 3 is the WHAM, weekly accountability meetings. But first, mistake number 3, doing it alone. How many of us try to push through believing we can stay consistent all by ourselves without support? But what actually happens? We call it drift, delay, ditching the plan because life gets messy. We forget the goals we set. We lose track of the next step. We get overwhelmed by distractions. Girl, the solution is the WHAM, the weekly accountability meetings. These are live coaching sessions that give you ongoing support, guidance, and encouragement. These are what are going to help you stay on track, adapt when life happens, and get back on course before you drift too far. Because real progress happens when you don't go it alone. Why does this matter? Because accountability is what keeps your plan alive. It transforms that someday into action and ensures that your 12-week growth map doesn't gather dust. You can celebrate wins, course correct quickly, and maintain momentum, all while keeping your peace intact. And see, when paired with a one thing focus in your 12-week roadmap, weekly accountability multiplies your results without multiplying your stress. And when you put all 3 together, the one thing focus, the 12-week growth map, and the WHAM, you don't just get a plan, you get a system. A system that turns ideas into income without stealing the rest of your life. Think about it. The one thing focus gives you clarity. You know exactly which project will move the needle and produce results for his kingdom and your business. So that way, you stop spinning your wheels chasing every shiny idea, and your energy is spent on what actually matters. Then, the 12-week growth map turns that clarity into action. Suddenly, your God-sized project isn't overwhelming. It's broken down into weekly, bite-sized steps. So you're moving forward consistently and intentionally. And you're no longer praying it gets done someday because you're seeing progress every week. And that sense of accomplishment is going to fuel your momentum. And the WHAM, well, that's the secret sauce. Because weekly accountability gives you guidance, support, and a safety net. So when life inevitably happens, you don't derail. You course correct quickly, stay on track, and keep the plan moving forward without burning out or losing your peace or your pace. Together, these 3 steps create my faith-centered, repeatable system. You focus on the right thing, you map it into actionable steps, and you walk it out with consistent support. And the result? You scale your revenue, your impact, and your results, all while staying aligned with God's purpose for your time and your business. That, my friend, is the growth mapping method. Focus, map, and walk it out. One clear project, one structured timeline, one supportive community. That is how you multiply results without multiplying the hours. And here's the thing. This isn't hustle theology. This isn't squeezing every ounce of energy out of you to chase more clients, more launches, or more income, because stewardship is different. Stewardship is about faithfulness. Faithfulness with your offers, faithfulness with your people, and faithfulness with your time. Proverbs reminds us the plans of the diligent lead to plenty. So when we steward our days, not just our hours or tasks, but our heart posture, God multiplies even the smallest faithful steps into growth far beyond what we could manufacture on our own. That's exactly what the growth mapping method is designed to do. It's a faithful way to steward what God has already placed in your hands and put in your heart. You focus on that one project that matters. You map it out into weekly actionable steps and you walk it out with accountability. Each of those steps isn't just productivity, it's kingdom work. I call that purposivity. Because each completed task, each small win is a fruit born out of faithful stewardship. And when you align your focus, your plan, and your support, and you approach it with the right heart, girl, you're not chasing results. You're walking in obedience, multiplying what's already yours and seeing your business grow in a way that honors God. That is the beauty of this system. because that faithfulness fuels growth, and that growth becomes fruit that actually lasts. So here's your next step. Before you move on to your next thing on your to-do list, I want you to pause and identify your next profitable project. What's the one thing that if you finished it in the next 12 weeks, or at least got to the next milestone, would move your business forward in revenue, impact, or influence? It could be something like building or refining a digital program or course to finally get traction with your clients, or launching a podcast, a book, or a YouTube channel to grow your authority or reach, or creating a lead magnet or marketing funnel to attract high quality leads on autopilot, or setting up your leads follow up system so that no opportunity slips through the cracks, or planning a promo, a masterclass, or workshop that will generate income and serve your audience. These are the kinds of projects that multiply your results, the ones that create measurable revenue while positioning your business for long term growth. And here's the thing, you don't have to do this alone. That's where the CEO Focus bundle comes in. For a limited time, when you join CEO Focus, you'll get the 12-week CEO Focus coaching accountability program built around the growth mapping method we've talked about today. So that way, you stay focused, consistent, and in motion. You'll also get the Redeem Her Time Planner, the undated and designed to map out your 12-week growth map with margin and purpose. And you'll get access to the Intentional Year digital course, step-by-step guidance to align your heart with your calendar so every day counts. Together, these 3 tools will give you clarity on your one thing, a practical timeline to finish it, and the support to walk it out confidently. You won't just cross the finish line. You're going to do it with peace, with presence, with purpose, knowing that you're stewarding your time the way that God intended. So, if you're ready to stop spinning your wheels, finally finish your high impact project, and scale your revenue and results before the year ends, then right now, head over to redeemhertime.com/focus-bundle. That's focus-bundle, and I'll put that link in the show notes. The growth mapping method works, and with a mentor walking alongside you, you're going to see how much you can really accomplish when your distraction is turned into dollars and faithful stewardship leads the way. May I remind you of this before we go? Kingdom stewards don't give up this close to the end of the year. There's still time to scale your revenue when you learn to scale your time. The growth mapping method is not a quick fix. It's a disciplined, faith-filled way to finish what matters and build real momentum for the next thing that God puts on your heart. You already have the ideas, the calling, and the people who need what you offer. Now you just need a map, a timeline, and someone to walk with you. That, my friend, is what CEO Focus and the Redeem Her Time Planner can provide. So let's finish strong. Let's steward well, and let's turn distractions into dollars with bigger purpose. Okay, friend, I'll see you over inside the Redeem Her Time community. We'll talk more about this. Thanks for joining me for this episode. Until next time, remember, instead of chasing time on the clock, trying to control it, receive the gift of time from the one who truly holds it. Because as his daughter, you have time.